So we have 5 minutes ago, the live broadcast has started on YouTube.
Give me a second.
You're trying to send the.
I'm just trying to send KK file. Okay, he's trying to- and then he's turn it on. So you just give me a couple seconds to try to keep that up.
Oh. Yeah.
Unless my-
Ananta Vrindavan is here. So
Is the sound on? I can't hear anything.
Ananta? Ananta Vrindavan devotees, everything is working nice? I don't know how Artama should get error.
So
Ananta, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. So is the temple
Let
room
me
ready?
check. Okay, I put in my headphones. Ananta, I can hear you now.
I can't hear anything coming.
Radhika?
Because he's talking. But...
Radhika, Ananta, everyone can hear me?
Yes,
You
we can
wait.
hear you. I can hear
So everything is working fine, Ananta. I don't know what's happened with. He used some. You saw Zoom meetings. He has some error or consumption. We can send to Urdev or no? Ananta, you have idea?
Well, he was before. He was on the Zoom before, just a few 10 minutes ago.
I think it's just his bug. I think it's just his bug, yeah?
He just needs to log in another device, that's all. Maybe log in on the phone.
It's just...
Maybe this is Kartamashi or Nartamji? Nartamji or Kartamashi is here, yeah?
Send him the link again. Send the
Yeah,
link
yeah,
to...
I did it, yes, Ananda. So I sent him the same link again, and I just click the link and I am here. So it should work without any problem.
Is it okay for you to play? Thank you. Yeah, yeah. So you can do that.
There was a sound before.
Maybe I can call to Kartamashi and check, or he will fix it. Do you think they need some help? Jai, the voice is ready. Ананта, мы с тобой можем полялякать, никому не помешаем пока. Эфир заполнить, если тебе удобно. He said coming soon. Окей, хорошо. Gurudev said he's coming soon. So we're waiting for them. Ananta, do we want to start broadcast, Ananta? On Indradima Swami Live?
Microphone. Close.
Perfect.
I just have to connect to my hotspot because the internet wasn't.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna.
Хорошо.
I only have one bar. I only have one bar. Yeah.
It's not enough bend, is it? Not enough bend.
Well, the band is unstable.
What are you using? For your phone. Your test phone. You want it on mine?
Should be the same.
No, but I can leave it outside.
I can leave mine outside.
स्तोमातिक्रमणाय अतिक्रमणाय अतिवेगाय अतिथिलाय अतिशिखराय अतिप्रतर्दनाय प्रतर्दनशीलाय प्रसन्नाय ऐन्द्रमुखाय वायुमुखाय अन्तर्मुखेन परिमण्डिताय तेजो विज्ञात कुञ्जिष्ठः समेतो नृसिंहः स्वविद्या जलविद्या भूतविद्या परिश्रमविद्या यथात्मविद्या परिवेक्षणविद्या ज्ञानविद्या भूतग्रामविद्या पराविद्या पराविद्या विरामविद्या संवर्धविद्या भूतविद्या भूतविद्या प्रभूतविद्या गणविद्या 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 क्षरविद्या भूतग्रामविद्या विद्या विद्या माधुर्यविद्या गौणविद्या 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 तद्रूपविद्या रूपविद्या रूपविद्या गणविद्या पराविद्या गाण्डल्यविद्या उपबोधविद्या मधुविद्या अग्निविद्या वैश्वानविद्या पंचाग्निविद्या मूलाग्निविद्या रुद्रविद्या 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 प्रबोधविद्या बोधविद्या 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 आवृतविद्या वृद्धिविद्या 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 विद्या वृद्धिविद्या वृद्धिविद्या सद्विद्या भगविद्या गुणविद्या हरियान्तर विद्या महात्मविद्या एकांतविद्या गुरुधारविद्या.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Can you hear me? Yes? I don't know if they can hear me. Yeah. Radhika? I don't know. Radhika, can you hear me? She can't hear me.
They're just trying to understand the audio.
Oh, I guess you can communicate by what?
Please, in the temple room, please make sure you can hear Gurudev.
Can they hear me now?
It doesn't look like I'm messaging Premanjali now. Can you hear Gurudev now?
All right.
Is your computer on mute?
It was working before, like when Vrindavan was speaking.
Oh.
And then when they did this on register.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna.
No,
Hare
we can't hear
Krishna.
Gurudev, yeah.
Ananta,
Okay.
what happened?
So they cannot fix it yet. They're working on it. As soon as we hear the update, I'll let you know.
Is that their fault or?
Can you hear us?
We can hear you. Who is this?
Ananta?
Yes, Gurudev.
We
hear
can
me?
hear you. Yes.
Can you hear me? I think a little fan because the flies are coming from a distance. So, Hare Krishna, everyone at New Govardhan. I'd like to begin by first offering my full dandavats. You know, dandavat means that Prabhupada said you fall down like a stick. Not just, you know, how we normally do, but like a stick. I'd like to fall down in front of all the Vaishnavas and the Vaishnavis at your very beautiful community at New Govardhan and offer each and every one of you my most humble obeisances. So in your mind, you can imagine that I'm there and I'm prostrated on the floor. Panchakalpa turubhyascha kripa sindhu avanebhyo. Secondly, I'd like to offer my obeisances to our founder Acharya, of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, our beloved Srila Prabhupada, who's the deliverer of all of us. He's the master at whose feet all the masters sit. Oma Gyantimirandasya Gyanan Gyana Shalakaya I offer my obeisances to the lotus feet of my spiritual master, who has opened my eyes with the torchlight of transcendental knowledge, while I was standing blinded by the darkness of material existence. Thirdly, I would like to offer my obeisances to all the beautiful deities. I can say this quite openly, I'll say it publicly, it's getting recorded. You have the most beautiful deities in ISKCON. I've been everywhere and seen everything in my 50 years of traveling this world, and I always like to come to New Govardhan and just stand in front of your deities and bask in their mercy. So first I offer my obeisances to Shishi Gaurnitai, and then in my mind I go to the far right and I offer obeisances to Giriraj. Giriraj Govardhan Lal Vamsiwala Ki. Then your beautiful Krishna Balaram deities, and then the all merciful Shri Sri Radha Govardhan Dhari and Vrindavaneshwari Srimati Radharani Ki Jai. Oh, that done, I'm not finished. That done, I would like to again prostrate myself in front of your illustrious temple president, Ajita. I'll also make another statement publicly that, and I'm saying this with all honesty, he is the best temple president in the entire International Society for Krishna Consciousness. He's just so expert. I mean, I could go on for hours, and hopefully when I come there, I will, but I grab his lotus feet and I put them on my feet. Il est pas français, Ajita, parce que je suis pas le français. Je prends votre pied de lotus upon mon tête. Lotus, put them on my head in French. And I would also like to offer my very deepest respects today to Srimati Radhika's parents, Trudish and Lokeshwari Mataji, because they have brought forth two wonderful lotus flowers on the pond of our Krishna conscious movement. Premanjali Devi Dasi, who's my spiritual daughter, and Radhika, who's soon going to be given a most amazing name. So really, I always consider in these type of functions that I'm like the artist who just puts the finishing touches on a painting. You know, an artist does a painting and then perhaps one of his helpers or something, or they'll come and they'll put in a few finishing touches. So what these girls are is really due to the upbringing of a Krishna conscious father and a Krishna conscious mother. I don't have much credit. I guess you could say I'm part of the team. When we have our youth who are born into this movement, mom's on one side, dad's on the other side, and I'm kind of like in the back, pushing the disciple forward. It's teamwork. Krishna consciousness is teamwork. Hari Guru Vaishnava, Bhagavad Gita, Narottam says. Thank God we have Krishna. He's the main force behind our going back to Godhead. We have our beloved Srila Prabhupada, our founder Acharya. He's our main guide. He's the master at whose feet all masters sit. And we have Vaishnavas. Hadi Guru Vaishnava, the Narottam says Bhagavata Gita. He doesn't say Bhagavad Gita. He mentions Gita, but Bhagavata, that actually means the devotees. It's interesting. He mentions devotees 2 times. Why? Because they're our first contact with Krishna consciousness. And in their association, we come to understand our spiritual master. And by the mercy of our spiritual master, we come to understand the divine couple, Radha and Krishna. Prabhupada said, therefore, it's a scientific process. Scientific. So all glories to the Vaishnavas. All glories to the Vaishnavas. So all glories to Tridesh and to Lokeshwari Mataji, who brought up these beautiful flowers, beautiful young girls. They're both very beautiful. And they're also very wonderful devotees. So now I've honored all those I wanted to honor, everyone there, even all the living entities, all the birds and the bees and the butterflies and the plants and the trees and the cows, especially the cows. So this ceremony that we're performing today, this is Harinam Diksha. This is initiation into the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra. This is required because anyone can benefit from hearing that transcendental sound. Otherwise, why is it that we're going out on Harinam? It's not for ourselves. Harinam is for the benefit of our brothers and sisters who've lost their way. The people. We love the people. We love the people. What would this movement be without the people? We wouldn't have anyone to preach to. And preaching is the essence, according to Srila Prabhupada. So anyone can benefit. Byron Bay, Mawulamba. When you go out and you chant, mantras, Krishna's all merciful. There's some Cheto Dharma Marjani. There's some purification going. Karma's going. And if one takes up the chanting, then the roots of material existence, our nasty material desires, they're uprooted and thrown to the 10th dimension. But if someone wants prem, which Mahaprabhu described as the 5th goal of life, someone wants prema, then they have to be blessed to chant. And through this initiation ceremony, one receives blessings, not just from, me, who am I? But being the humble representative of Prabhupada, one gets Prabhupada's blessings. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Gorkashtardas Babaji Maharaj, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, all the way back to the Adi Guru Krishna. This is the importance of this initiation. That's why one should hanker day and night to get this initiation. Like you take a electric cord and you put it into the wall, then the electricity comes and it goes all the way to where it's meant to go. So this initiation's like that. It's a connection to Guru Parampara, and immediately the mercy flows from Adi Guru Krishna to all our acharyas. We have our disciplic succession. This is why it's so important. It's like revival. Like the Christians, they have the revival functions. Okay. This is ultimate revival. This has actually been compared to second birth. Our first birth is into the womb of the material nature. Now, okay, we celebrate our birthdays. Happy birthday to you. We should be singing, so sorry for you, so sorry for you. You left Vaikuntha. You are a fool, you are. Actually, Bhakti Vinod Thakur says we should honor and celebrate the birthdays of Vaishnavas. Not just Guru, all Vaishnavas. I read that recently. So we should, because we always want to glorify the Vaishnavas, so there's a good reason. You took birth and you're using your birth properly. But in general, what does it mean to take birth? Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, there's something for sure. For one who has taken birth, death is certain. What? Not only that, for one who has died, birth is certain. It's like somebody slaps you on one side of your face, and then they slap you on the other side of your face. It's a double whammy. So nothing so great. But this birth today, this is a celebration. That's why we organized from a distance that you would all receive garlands, little cards, thanking you for coming to give your blessings to Radhika. A sign, I don't know if they put the sign up, but welcome to Radhika's initiation ceremony. There's some sweets for you. Thank you so much, all of you, for coming. This is something to celebrate. Because Phalina Parichate, we say in Sanskrit, what's the result of this? Not death. The result of this initiation is eternal life. Back home, back to Godhead, where life is eternal, full of knowledge and bliss. Braj, Vrindavan, where every step is a dance. Every word is a song. There's a Sunday feast every day. And the flute is the constant companion. I mean, how does this world compare to that? It doesn't. So this is something to celebrate. The end result is liberation, and more than that, the eternal service to the Lord. So how does it work? Every question is answered in Prabhupada's books. He described in one lecture I was listening the other day that just as the father plants his seed in the womb of his wife at the moment of conception, which brings forth the child. So at this moment of initiation, this is something very significant. At the moment of initiation, the spiritual master awakens the seed of eternal love of God in the heart of the disciple. Right now, it's dormant. Up until initiation, it's there, but it's dormant. Love of God is there eternally in the heart of every living entity. Rupa Goswami says it's not something that you get from some other place. It's already there. Like the Bible says, the kingdom of heaven is within you. Yes. But it's in a seed, bija, bhakti lata bij. Bij means it's a seed. And how can it just remain there dormant for so many lifetimes? Seeds grow, but only when you water them. You can go to Mawulamba, there must be a garden store there. And you can go in, you can see different seeds on the shelf. Like when spring comes, we buy the seeds and we plant them. Some of those seeds may have been in the packages for years and years. You take them back to your beautiful soil, your Chintamani, Dham, in New Govardhan. You put them in the ground. You know better than me. The soil there is excellent. You water. So the watering process has to be there. So how does the guru water the seed of love of God? He chants in the right ear of the mantra, the mantra in the right ear of the disciple. What mantra? Maha mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Rama. Someone may say, that's all? Yeah, that's all. That's all you need. By Mahaprabhu's mercy, that's all you need. Namachintamani Krishnas Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha. Because Sri Krishna is present fully in the sound of his name. We don't get it yet, but as we become more purified and our spiritual senses are awoken, we'll appreciate more. Because with these material senses, we can see things of this world, but things on the spiritual platform, you can't see with these eyes. You have to awaken your spiritual senses, and then you can see spiritual things. So this mantra is completely spiritual. So sometimes the guru has to remind the disciples, chant, finish your vow, 16 rounds, chant more if you can, and listen very carefully. Because you don't see now, but you'll see someday. It's absolute truth. And you'll really appreciate. You'll appreciate so much that when you chant Hare Krishna, some tears will come down your cheeks. Oh, Maharaj, that's Sahaja. No. Prabhupada says in Nectar Devotion, which is a summary study of Rupa Goswami's Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, there's a chapter called we have the art of crying. We have to learn the art of crying. But that's for great devotees. It is true. But you can also cry in appreciation. You can also cry out of affection. And you can cry out of love. Just like the other day, it was my birthday, and some of my students gave me some really nice presents, and a sign of their affection, but it brought tears to my eyes. That's not bhakti. It is bhakti. One time I was with Prabhupada in Calcutta, and a life member came in. He said, Swamiji, your disciples, they're not practicing bhakti yoga. They are not on the level of bhakti. Love for Narayan, he said. Prabhupada got very angry. He said, no. He said, it's love, but he said the dawn of love. Prabhupada said, the dawn of love. And the man was a little confused, so Prabhupada, he said, like mango. He said, there's green mango and there's yellow mango, ripe mango. So we think, oh, I want the ripe mango. But green mango is also mango. And we make chutney from that. So Prabhupada said, the love of my disciples for me, he said, it's like the green mango chutney. It's love. And in time, it will come as we cry in love for Prabhupada. We will also cry in love for our spiritual master. As we cry in love for Krishna, we'll cry in love for Prabhupada, and we'll cry in love for our guru, and we'll cry out of love for our God brothers and God sisters, because that's what it's all about. It's all about love. Love is all you need. Love makes the world go around. Not this world. Lust makes this world go around. Love makes Goloka Vrindavan go around like the whirl of a lotus flower. So, but along with awakening that seed of love of Godhead, which there's a metaphor, it kind of like it grows into a plant, and the stem of that plant goes, breaks through the coverings of the material world, goes through Vaikuntha all the way to Goloka, and that vine of love, that Bhakti Lata, it wraps around Krishna's feet, and it wraps around Shri Radhika's feet, and it produces the fruits and flowers of love of God. That's what we have to look forward to. But let us beware. Let us beware that in any garden, there's also weeds. And sometimes the weeds in that garland, they choke the tender creeper, like a rose bush. So here in India, you see that when they plant something along the side of the road, they may plant like a little tiny seedling. They build this big wire mesh, it goes like 6 feet tall, and this little tiny plant down there. So the cows, the horses, the donkeys, the crows don't come and eat that little seedling. So you have to protect that seedling. So yes, our Bhakti Lata Bij is growing, but unfortunately in the garden of our heart, there's some nasty weeds. Some weeds are really nasty. They have thorns on them. Some you can just pull out. Others you have to put on gloves. Ow! So there's some really nasty ones in our hearts. Krishna says there's 3 gates leading to hell: lust, anger, and greed. So they're there. And we have to pull them out so that the Bhakti Lata Bij can grow very nicely. So really in the beginning, that's the main work of the spiritual master to help us cultivate this garden. That's why sometimes the spiritual master is a little heavy, because we're a little lackadaisical, yeah, I'll become Krishna conscious. No, now. There's an urgency now. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's disciples, sometimes they complained. Guru Maharaj, you're like chop, chop, chop. You're always chopping. You're always reprimanding us. And, those days they didn't say get on our case. I don't know what they say. You're always reprimanding us. You're too heavy. But the senior devotees would say, no, that's good. Because old habits die hard. Old habits die hard. It's hard to get free of our material attachments. Brahmanda Bhamati Konya Bhagavanji, we've been here for millions and millions of years. If you do something for millions of years, that's habit. And Niti Shastra, Janaka Pandit, he says, old habits. So do you. We can't do it on our own. We can't do anything on our own. Even materially, we're all fools. We speak of spiritually. So we have to depend on others. I get by with a little help from my friends. I get by with a little help from my friends. A friend in need is a friend indeed. Rupa Goswami prays in Padyavali, my dear Lord, I'm drowning in this fathomless whirlpool of material existence. Oh Lord, please, just this one time, extend your hand to save me. I love that verse. Rupa Goswami gives us so many beautiful insights into Krishna consciousness, and Padyavali is one of my favorite books. Oh Lord, I'm drowning in the fathomless whirlpool of material existence. Please, just this one time, extend your hand, save me. So where's the big hand? Where's that hand? For the disciple, that hand is the spiritual master. Everyone may appreciate a devotee, and we should appreciate every devotee. But in the eyes of the disciple, the spiritual master is like, well, he's the best devotee. That's why I chose him as my guru. I mean, I'm not talking about myself. But in the eyes of the disciple, the spiritual master he sets the best example, and we like his lectures. One time somebody asked me, how do I choose my spiritual master? They're all saying the same thing. I said, well, someone's your spiritual master that when they speak, it resonates with your heart. Yeah, I want to give up material life now. I want to try. And I believe in Goloka Vrindavan. This is Guru. No one can assign you a guru. You may have to wait 10 years. Doesn't matter. When someone speaks, the guru speaks, and now I understand. In school, I was a dummy. I'd come home and my mom, God bless her, my mom would explain it to me in such a way I understood immediately. So gurus like that. So the business of the guru in the beginning is Dehinosmin yatarehe komanam yovanam jara tatatayantaraspa. There is not. He's teaching us the ABCs of spiritual life, and it may take a while, may even take lifetimes to sink in, but that's okay. Confucius said the longest journey begins with the first step. But this is Guru's business, really, and therefore you see, Prabhupada speaks, his purports are divided in half, really, or maybe 60%, 40%. 60% about the futility of material existence over and over and over. And then, of course, if we carefully research, we see Srila Prabhupada has given us everything. You read, the Bhagavatam, 10th canto, everything that I'm researching now from my classes on Vrindavan. And I have, to make it interesting, I studied the Goswami's literatures. I go back to Prabhupada's books, it's all there. It's all there. So the first things first, I get up in the morning, my dad would say, son, make your bed. Dad, I want to go out and play football. Make your bed. First things first, son. Still in my mind. So Guru says, first thing, pull out the weeds. Pull out those material attachments. Prabhupada said to Saswarup Maharaj, when he took sannyas, he said, and he handed him his dandi, he said, never look back and think you've left anything behind. And never envy the position of the materialistic enjoyers. Like a sailor, he doesn't look back. Why would he look back? He left the shore to go to a destination. So he's always looking forward. He can't see it, but he's heard about it. So we can't see Goloka, but we've heard about it from Prabhupada, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Rupa Goswami, Srinathan, Raghunath Das Goswami. They've all opened the window to the spiritual world for us. We just have to look. We have to qualify ourselves at each step. So it's nice to grow. Doesn't matter if you're a beginner. All glories to you. If someone's in the temple room, they've only been in the community for a month or two. All glory. I also pay my obeisances to you. You made the right decision. You're in the right place at the right time doing the right thing. You're in New Govardhan in Australia. Here, I'm in India, but India's on fire right now. As I look out the window into the valley, I live on a mountain. I can see all the funeral pyres burning from all the people who've died from COVID-19. It's heartbreaking. The air is all smoky because of the fires. All of you are blessed. Your government did the right thing, whatever they did. And you live now and almost like it was before, more or less. I haven't been outside my house in 15 months. So dangerous here. So you're blessed there. So if you've come to the New Govardhan community and you're taking an interest in Krishna consciousness and you're starting to chant, I pay my obeisances to you. Because there's so many philosophers and scientists and teachers and politicians who are the leaders that just don't get it. Dukkalayam ashashvatam. It's a harsh statement. But sometimes, spare the rod, spoil the child. Prabhupada said, I never wanted to come to this nasty place, material world, but Krishna asked me to come. And Prabhupada has made it Vaikuntha for all of us. We're in a Vaikuntha bubble. In Australia, you guys are in a bubble. So take full advantage. Chant, dance, take prasadam, be happy, and share your good fortune with others. So Guru pours, here, okay, pull out the weeds. How? No meat eating, no intoxication, no illicit sex, no gambling. That's pulling out the weeds. And watering the creeper? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama. And dance. It's so easy. Mahaprabhu's made it so easy. Sometimes I can't understand why people don't just join the movement like that. So that's what we're doing today. We're not me, but the mercy of the Guru Parampara, which I'm only a humble representative. There, we're igniting the fire of Krishna consciousness in this young girl's heart, Radhika. I am so proud of you, Radhika. Excuse me. I knew you before in previous times. For whatever reason, everyone has their ups and downs in life. You had your downs early in life, that's good. And I remember you looked a little morose and, but now when I look at you, you're very beautiful and you're effulgent and you're a happy girl. Prabhupada wanted us to be happy. He said, chant Hare Krishna and be happy. You're a happy girl and you found your niche. You love to take care of the cows love you, you love the cows. You know, it's so wonderful to have seen you come to where you are now. Thank you. You're a wonderful example. Everyone's struggling in this world. You're a bright star now in our Krishna conscious movement. I know you don't like to hear this, devotees don't like to hear it, but I'm sure your dad, your mom, they're just sitting there glowing. And they have the right. They can feel some pride today, right? We're supposed to be humble, not proud, but we can be proud. I'm Krishna's devotee. I'm a follower of Prabhupada. I have my spiritual master. We can be proud. And mothers and fathers can be proud of girls like you and boys like you who made the decision on your own to take to Krishna consciousness. Like when you're born in a religion, it's a different thing. Lots of times people were born in religions and they don't join the religion. Unfortunately, I see many of our young people in ISKCON, they're born into the movement, but they never join the movement. They follow one or two regular principles. Sometimes they chant, all glories to them. But you're setting a good example, you and your sister. You're joining the International Society for Krishna Consciousness by taking up the process in all seriousness. So therefore, I want to help you. Therefore, I'm, like you can consider me like that hand that Rupa Goswami was praying for from Krishna. And I want to make a promise to you. Just like you're going to make some very serious vows to me today, and I will watch and make sure that you follow them. That's as one of your gardeners. That's I have to make sure that you stay on the straight and narrow. But I want to promise you, as you are making vows, I will also make a vow to you that I will not rest until both of us and all of my disciples and all, let us pray all of ISKCON. One day we'll be sitting safely at Srila Prabhupada's feet in Goloka Vrindavan. It's said that sometimes the spiritual master has to come back to rescue his disciples. So that's a challenge. I mean, I'm not bragging here, but just some statistics. I have about 7,000 disciples. It's a good chance I'm going to come back. I don't care. Because for me, the spiritual world is where I'm serving Prabhupada. I don't want to be in any spiritual world without Prabhupada. He's my deity. He's my worshipable deity. And yes, he'll introduce me to the divine couple, but even then, I hope to hand the chandan, the camphor, the garland I've made to Prabhupada, who hands it to Sri Radhika. That's pretty deep, but we won't go too deep, but we know who we are and we know where we're going. Bob Marley said that. We know who we are and we know where we're going. So sometimes we can open that window and, Vrindavan, and then go back and pull out the weeds. So I promise you, Radhika, that I will, by the grace of my spiritual master, I will deliver you to his lotus feet, and I will not rest until you're back in Goloka. I promise you that. There was a song in the 50s, don't make promises you can't keep. So I'm very careful. Brahmana is very careful what he says. A Brahmana chooses their words, just like a Sudra, he chooses the stones by which to make a beautiful temple. A Vaishya is very careful when milking the teats of the cow. A Kshatriya is always sharpening his blade for going into combat to uphold Dharma. So Brahmana, it said when a Brahmana speaks, I mean, I'm trying to become a Brahmana, but when a Brahmana speaks, generally what he says comes true. So Brahmanas are very careful with their words. So I'm saying this, I say it to all my disciples. I said the other day, I don't mind being the last man standing. When I was in the military, before coming to Krishna consciousness, I was in America's greatest fighting force, the Marine Corps. There's different fighting forces and special forces, but the Marines were the best. So in training, we were taught again and again and again and again, that if there is a firefight, we were talking about Vietnam, if there's a firefight, which means a gun battle, and you have to retreat, you cannot retreat without all of the men, even if one has died. We were taught like that. If one of our comrades, our soldiers, has given up his life, the service of his country, we're duty bound to take that body back with us. And sometimes it meant another soldier died, but that was the ethic. No one went, we didn't go back alone. We went back with everybody. So in a spiritual way, I've been taught by Prabhupada to think like that. I take this so seriously. These are my students. You're serving your spiritual master so nicely. All the Vyas Puja offerings, they make me cry. Like, oh, I'd like to be like that. You know, they're saying something nice. I think, oh, I'd like to be like that. And I will try to be like that so I can do this service. And I'll try to become a better devotee, Radhika, so as to take you back home, back to the spiritual, with your sister. You might even be twins in the spiritual world. Who knows? Hare Krishna. So yes. Let's all go home together. But let's not forget our brothers and sisters. The whole world's our brothers and sisters. We don't look at the karmis and think, oh, karmis, we're better than them. We're not better. We were there in cosmic time, we were there 1 second ago. We're more fortunate. How fortunate all of you are to be living under the good management of Vajita Prabhu and his team, in the association of Krishna's cows and the most beautiful deities and wonderful Krishna village program, preaching, and you're farming, and you've got everything. Please take full advantage. And the best way is to bring the good people of your country to New Govardhan. Maybe they won't become devotees, but the piety, the benefit will grow in their hearts, and that community will be, it'll just be watering the whole country with auspiciousness. So you can see how much I love New Govardhan. I first came there, I think it was 1990. Was that correct? I came to Australia in 1990. So I love the Australian yatra. I love the Australian people. They're free and easy. And they're good people. I mean, there's some bad apples, of course, but the Aussies are good people. And, you know, you really know how to enjoy Krishna consciousness. I'll say that for sure. You know how to cook a feast. You guys know how to eat a feast. You know, Aussies are big people. So I miss all of you. I miss all of you very much, and I'm suffering. But at the same time, I'm enjoying because I'm in my chair for so many months, just speaking Krishna consciousness. But I know that I'm serving my disciples by nourishing their bhakti-lata beach, and I will continue to do that. As soon as the COVID's over, I'll be the first one out the door. I'll buy a ticket from Delhi to Brisbane. I'll get in the car. I'll drive up the 2.5 hours to New Govardhan, and I'll cross over that little bridge. And if any of you are there to receive, you'll see another river. You'll see a river of tears. To see all of you again and hug you and embrace you and have some whomper stomper kirtans and eat the prasad up to the neck and worship the deities. So thank you. Okay, so we're gonna, I don't want to go on too long because I know you all have, you're going to observe Lord Nrsingadev's Parents' Day today. So I'm going to, we'll go through the whole process now, the formalities of the initiation. I would like, I almost called you by your new name. I'd like Radhika to take the Ajman cup and take the spoon in your left hand and put 3 drops in your right hand and look at the water and say, Om Keshavaya Namaha.
Om
Sip the water.
Keshavaya.
And then put one drop on the hand and to the side. And to sanctify that, I will chant a mantra from the Garuda Purana. Om apavita pavitrova sarvavastam gato pivi yasmarat pundarikaksham sabaya bayanta suchi. This means either pure or impure, or having passed through all conditions of material life. If one can remember the lotus-eyed Krishna, he becomes externally and internally cleansed. So one more time, 3 drops in the right hand. Look at the water. Om Narayanaya Namaha. Om Narayanaya. And you sip. And then 1 drop on the hand to the right. Prabhupada told me one time, he said, Brahman means so clean that when he drinks water, he washes his hands afterwards. I said, what? Yes. Brahman means he's so clean that if he drinks water, then he washes his hands after. Hare Krishna. So one more time, Radhika, like that. And you look and you say, Om, let me chant the mantra first for that last one. Om apavitra pavitrova sarvavastam gato biva yasmaret pundarikaksha sabaya bhayantara suchi. So one more time, 3 drops. We look at our hand and we infuse that water with transcendental potency. Om Madhavaya Namaha. Then you sip. And then 1 drop in the right hand to the side. And then we will say the mantra one last time. Om Pavitra Pavitrova Sarvavastam Gato Piva Yasmaret Pundarikaksham Sabaya Bhayantara Suchi. Hare Krishna. So now, my dear spiritual daughter, you can put on your new neck beads, and you can have maybe your sister help you. And while you're doing that, Prabhupada said, if you've got time, chant Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And I see you wearing a flower garland. Very good. Thank you. Yes, and I will send you beads from India. I have a very beautiful set of beads for you. These beads were carved by a Brajbasi sadhu, Radhakund Baba, a friend of mine out at Radhakund, and he carves the beads. And when he carves the beads, he carves the names, he carves Radharani's name in each bead. You have those beads here. He carves the name of Radha in each bead and the head bead. So I got these beads when I was at Radhakund some time ago. And then I dipped them in liquid prema. What? Liquid love of God? Yes. There's an ocean of milk, there's an ocean of ghee, there's an ocean of oil, there's a milk, there's an ocean of prem, there's a lake of prem, it's called Shri Radhakund. Shri Radhakund, Radharani's bathing place. So we took those beads and we dipped them in the sacred waters of Radhakund. And we chanted on them. And I'm going to send them, I'd like to send them in a flower airplane. A flower airplane with some nice, devotees, but I will send them DHL. And I'll show you your beads. Oh, here they are. These are your beads. You can see how Radha's name is carved on each bead. Here's the head bead.
Haribo.
So I've taken these beads and I chanted on them for 20 minutes. So what does that mean? That means like this. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Next beat. Hare Krishna, like that. For you, I did this. Such a good girl. We're so proud of you. You made it, join the movement. So these beads, I will. So at this point, this is many devotees' favorite part. At this point, we're going to ask you to come forward in a metaphorical way, to come forward and to say to your spiritual master, what are the 4 rules and regulations that you will follow for the rest of your life? And I'm confident that you will, otherwise I would not have gone through this procedure. What are the 4 rules and regulations that you promise to follow? I'll tell you what they are, because many times when disciples come forward, they may have PhD or masters, and they get nervous and they forget, what are the rules? It's okay to be nervous in front of the master, because we see the spiritual master in awe and reverence. He's our teacher. He's our guide. He's got our back. So yes, it's a sweet, loving relationship, but there's awe and reverence. Therefore, at least 3 times a day, we remember him and what he's doing for us. And when we bow down to him, we always say his full pranam mantra. We don't just bow down, Namo Vishnu Padaya, Haribol. We have a culture here in Krishna consciousness. We're trying to develop the highest culture. So whenever we bow down to Guru, like I bow down first when I wake up in the morning. First thing I do, in my bed, I pay full obeisances to my spiritual master and many of my god brothers and god sisters as well. So that's the point we should always know. So that helps us cultivate the mood of awe and reverence. So we're a little nervous. So no meat eating, no intoxication, no illicit sex, which means sex outside of marriage, and no gambling. That's the hard part. The easy part is Guru Maharaj, with great enthusiasm and eagerness, I'll grab onto the lotus feet of Sri Krishna in the form of his holy name. And every day I will chant 16 rounds, I promise. Okay. So please, Radhika, you can now take your vows, and then I will give you the most beautiful name. 3 worlds and in Goloka. So please.
Okay. Dear Srila Gurudev, I promise that I will refrain from in this lifetime with no illicit sex, no gambling, no intoxication, and no meat eating. And I promise you that for the rest of my life, I will chant 16 rounds every day of the Maha Mantra.
And they're making a big thing. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. And please also very carefully study Srila Prabhupada's books fully. We have to make time. I remember when I was young, Mom would feed us a full meal, and she'd say, "Son, are you ready for dessert?" "Oh, Mom, I'm so full." She'd quote what we had in America. It was a slogan amongst business people. "There's always room for Jell-O," she'd say, and she'd bring the Jell-O, and I'd eat the Jell-O. So we should make time for study. Someone can say, "I'm not very intelligent." You're all intelligent. You made the right decision to join this movement, so you're intelligent. So even if it just means a few minutes a day, it all adds up over a year and over the years. Because we're Brahmanas, we have to see with our intelligence. Prabhupada said intelligence means to see things in proper perspective. So we need to know the philosophy. So we have to make time. And if you can, you please also listen to my lectures. please. And also, please never criticize devotees. This is an unfortunate weed that we may add to the weed garden of our life, our hearts, is that somehow or other it happens that we criticize devotees. It's become so commonplace in ISKCON now. So unfortunate. Don't go on the internet and hear criticism of anyone. If you go on the internet, just use it for the proper purposes, like I do for research, or to find out how what different temples are doing, or something like that. But be very careful of criticism. It's the first offense against the holy name. So myself, Vaisheshika Prabhu, many of us are warning our disciples against this vicious black plague of criticizing. If we see another devotee is not acting properly or has done something wrong, there's the proper way to deal with it through higher authority in a mood of love and compassion. Criticism means that, I'm better than another person. We have to correct. We have to be corrected, but it should be done through the proper channels. So be careful. It's so much fun to glorify the devotees, just to glorify the devotees. And that's the mood of Vrindavan. They're all glorifying each other. Goloka Vrindavan Dham. So, I'm going to give you a most beautiful name. Yes. Are you ready? I'll give you your name, and then I'll explain your name. My dear spiritual daughter, from this day forth, you shall be known as Shri Radhika Charana Renu Devi Dasi. Now, I'd like to explain this name. It's a long name. And in Australia, devotees don't do good with long names because down there you shorten everything to 2 syllables. But we're part of a very high culture. Vaikuntha, Goloka is the highest culture. And we have a very proper way of doing things. How we dress, how we talk, how we carry ourselves, how we present our movement, not that it has anything to do with me, but like my Polish festival tour, everything's pucka, everything's first class. Everything's first class. Those of you who have been there. The tents are all very nice, nicely decorated, sturdy, strong, colorful. Inside there's beautiful exhibits. There's a wonderful restaurant. The yoga tent is decorated nicely, professional devotees doing the yoga. I'm giving a lecture, for time, place, and circumstance. Kirtans are theater performances. The mayor of Baltimore in America, he came to our festival tour in America. He said, Maharaj, he called me Maharaj, the mayor. He said, your theater is as good as Broadway. Excuse me, Mayor? He said, no, it's professional. That's why so many high-class people are here. I said, thank you. He said, but it's better than Broadway. What? He said, because you guys have a message. But you're so smart. You know how to get good people to come because, it's professional, it's high class, and then they listen to your message. You Hare Krishnas are pretty smart guys. Like that. So we have a very sophisticated culture. So in those kind of cultures, sometimes, because I spent a lot of time in France. And in France, the aristocrats, they have long names. Louis, Le Quinze, like this. So I want you to become a very cultured girl, spiritually cultured girl. So I've given you a long name, Shri Radhika Charana Renu. But this name is pregnant with Braj Bhakti because Renu means dust. Like we talk about Braj Renu, the dust of Vrindavan. It's dust, but it's one of the 5 personalities who grant eternal residence in Vrindavan, with Jamuna and Govardhan and Shiva, like that. So this is special dust. What is it? Radhika Charana. It's the dust from the lotus feet of Radharani. So you are the servant of the dust of the lotus feet of Sri Radhika. I couldn't give a better name than that. Sri Radhika Charana Renu. Say it. Sri Radhika Charana Renu Dasa. Now I'd like to make a very humble request to all my beautiful God brothers, God sisters, and devotees at New Govardhan. Please don't shorten the name. You've got TD, Loki, Gova, Tols, Beam, Serbs. You've got all, I think everything becomes 2 syllables. We were calling her Radhi before. But let me very humbly say to you that everything in our movement is divine. Everything in our movement is divine. It's all Tadiya, it's all connected to Krishna. We don't want to diminish it. We don't want to shorten it. We don't want to make it less. You don't want someone to serve you less prasadam. You don't want to chant less rounds. You don't want to have less friends. Why we should shorten the names that our spiritual preceptors give us? It's such a gift to get a name from the Guru. We don't want to chop it up. Chop up Krishna's names? Radhika, Radhi. Like Prabhupada, I heard Prabhupada say one time in, I forget, I think it was Paris. Someone was asking, like about the name of Krishna. So the devotee said to Prabhupada, like, Prabhupada, are like, if we can just remember our own names at the time of death, can we go back to Godhead? Prabhupada said, yes. I was like, what? Indradumna Swami. I'll probably end up in Jagannath Puri. Indradumna Swami. So, when you die, you don't want to just remember TD. Where's that going to get you? That in America, that's a touchdown in football. Or Tulsa, or Beams, Serbs. No, every syllable is important. Really, it's just something it's something that's come about through the history of the Australian yatra. Who am I to advise all of you? But these names are very special. One time, my godbrother, Pusta Krishna Prabhu, he was Prabhupada's servant, and he was chanting japa with Prabhupada. And he was chanting, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram. And Prabhupada said, what nonsense are you chanting? What? Pusta Krishna said, he almost fell on the floor. What nonsense you're chanting? Prabhupada, I'm chanting Mahamantra. You're not chanting Mahamantra. There's 32 syllables in this mantra. You're leaving you're chanting Ram, not Rama. Hare Rama, when we sing, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. You're chanting Ram. You have to, Rama, every syllable. Just like you get a prescription from the doctor. You have to take 4 of these medicine, 2 of these, and 6 of those every day. And you cut it down to 2, 1, 3. You're not going to get cured. So, this is part of our culture. We should cherish the names given, and we should expect people to respect and honor us by saying our whole name. I know this is not going to create a revolution in the Australian yatra, but at least for her, please. This is such a beautiful name. I was saving this name for years. And when I saw this girl, like a lotus is closed at night, And then she started chanting. She started coming to the temple, serving the cows. And she opened up like that. I'm going to give her this name. Shri Radhika Charana Renu, servant of the dust of the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani. And if you can't do that, at least say Shri Radhika. Her name is similar to before, out of respect for the parents, because parents sometimes they get a different name. It's so I kept Radhika. So please don't go out of the temple. Oh, Radhi, that was a really good initiation. No, you come up to her. Shri Radhika Charana. That was a wonderful initiation, and I love your name, Shri Radhika Charana. Please, everyone, repeat after me. Shri Radhika Charana Renu Dasi. Okay. So you can all practice uplifting our culture to higher levels and attracting high-class people as well. By at least in your community, let's try just this one girl every time he's here. Oh, Shri Radhika Renu. It's not so hard. You can say, what time we going out on Harinam? You can say, Shri Radhika Charana Renu Dasi. And we'll all get the blessings of Vrindavan Ishwari, Srimati Radharani, because when we say her name, she's also dancing on the tips of our tongues. Vrindavan Ishwari, Srimati Radhika ki, Shishira, Shri Prabhupada ki, back home, back ki, Jai Jai Sri Sham. And all glories to Bhagavan Narasimhadev. I'm going to give you a darshan of my deity. Please hold on here. This is a deity that's 800 years old. I can't see. Where do I see? Yeah, here I can see. Very, very, we painted his face, of course, but very ancient deity. I don't know if they can see, we'll put him right in front there. So this is his appearance day, and I pray that he will watch over and protect all of us as we traverse the path back to the spiritual world. So I'll do the fire yajna now. I'm very happy to do it. It's a little out of the ordinary that we have a fire yajna that's 10,000 kilometers away. But all of you can participate. What I'm going to do is I'm going to chant them each mantra full rather than one word at a time. And Shri Radhika Charana Renu, you can just take the grains in these fingers like this. And when I say Svaha, you throw grains. And this will make the ceremony complete. And you'll be a big burst on your path back home to the spiritual world. And I'll do it quickly right now because I have another initiation ceremony in Russia, about 20 devotees, and I'm going to give a lecture, and I'm going to give the names and then do another yajna. And then in the afternoon, I have another initiation ceremony, just a couple of them. And I'm going to do another fire yajna. And then I'm going to chant all my rounds, and then I'm going to fast till dusk. And then constantly remember the mercy of Bhagavan Narasimhadev. Okay, so I think we're going to move this computer here, and I'll install the yajna, and then we'll do the ceremony. Just bear with me for a few moments. You can chant a little japa, all of you.
Ananta. I will also be pinning the video. I mean, you can pin my video on my laptop. I'll just set it up in a minute.
Okay, sure.
They start at 4:30. They have a special festival. I can send you the prayers for them. Yeah, put them somewhere. They're too- Go, Thomas. If you can't find them, you just print them out again. Where were they? Oh, okay. Let me move this a little bit. I'll just light the fire. Ready, guys? Now you're going to put in the piece of help, and I'll let you take the pictures.
Like it's actually shot in something like that.
Explain to everyone what it is.
We're already.
Shri Radhika Charnarenu. I arranged that for you. I wanted Ajita to give it to you so that you could always remember this very special day, how beautiful your name is. And there's a beautiful prayer there as well that you can read to the devotees while I'm doing this about the dust of the lotus feet of Radharani. So why don't you read it out loud while I prepare the fire? I don't know if she heard me.
Radhi, Srila Gurudev would like you to read it out loud. When I called her Radhi.
Okay.
Say your name properly.
Shri Radhika Charnarenu.
Tamashi, you in trouble. Tamashi, you in trouble.
He said Roddy. Shri Radhika Charana Renu Dasi, servant of the dust of the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani. I meditate on the dust of Sri Radha's feet, dust that even Brahma, Shiva, Sukadev, Narada, Bhishma, and a host of great saints cannot see, dust that has a limitless power, dust that has once transformed the Supreme Personality of Godhead into Sri Radha's submissive servant.
You know what, I think we should bring it a little closer because it's going to be hard for them to hear me say the words.
No, they can hear you.
They can't. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Take off that. So, Shri Radhika Charana Renu, Devi Dasi. Are you ready? Behind me, there's this light flashing, I think. Can you just double assure they can hear me?
They can hear.
I can't hear them.
They're on mute right now.
I put them on.
Okay. Shri Radhika Charana Renu, could you please unmute yourself?
I think there's a message that's coming through.
No, that's.
Can you guys hear me? That's good. If I can hear them, it'll be better for me.
Now they're unmuted.
I hear you so well.
Hear me now?
A little better, yes.
I think this mic's so far away. Bring it like it was here, and then that easier to hear me. Right up as close as possible. Really close. Really close. Okay. How's that, Shri Radhika Charana Renu?
It's better.
Is it better?
Yes.
So I'm going to chant each mantra in full. Generally, we chant each word, but it's just as potent to chant the whole mantra for time's sake here now. And so when I say svaha, again, you throw the grains into the fire. I think move it back a little bit so I'm not half chopped in there. There you go, okay. Om Agyan Timirandasya Gyanan Ganya Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Jena Tasmai Si Gurave Namaha. Now you'll throw the grains in. Swaha, Swaha, Swaha. Devotees can also. Sri Chaitanya Mano Bhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Sva Padantikam Swaha 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 Vandeha Shri Guru Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaisnavam Scha Shri Rupam Sakachatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Satvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitam Cha Swaha Swaha Swaha. I can't hear them. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Swaha Swaha Swaha. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine Swaha. She's not throwing. Swaha. Swaha. I think it froze. Hold on a sec. Maybe it's our internet. Hold on a sec, guys. They've disappeared.
I'm just gonna call Ajita to see if there's an internet problem.
Is it us or them? Ceremony in 1 hour. Can they hear me? Ask them if they can hear me.
Manjali, can you hear us?
So they just went off the hotspot. They're trying another hotspot now.
Ananta, when did they go off? At what point?
I told them if it doesn't work, they can just use the phone too.
At what point do you know that we lost contact? You know?
After you finished one day,
They tried coming this way, so it must be something coming from here.
And after 1 hour, it will be another yagya, same Sugradev. Maybe we can combine, no? Sugradev, it is in 1 hour Russian yagya and again yagya.
Oh, yeah.
Иду.
That's why
Сейчас, запускай заходит.
we have a separate ceremony for the Shringadev.
Said that it's just the ceremony will start after this.
Yeah. You know, can you type someone there and ask them at what point we got cut off, so I know I can do the mantras again if I have to.
I told them just to log in with the phone, available phone. So I think they're gonna do it now.
I think we got it. I think she just dropped out. Hey,
Back. Gautam.
just dropped out.
That's score. That's Shakti Bhat, you can tell them. Can someone tell me how far we got? How far did we get in the prayers?
First two or three. First three times. The first three.
The first three, we finished till Vandeham.
Okay.
Namo Vishnu.
All right. So everyone's ready? Can they hear me? They can, okay. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Svaha 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 Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nivishesha Shunyavadi Paschacha Desha Tarine Svaha 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 Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Iti Namine Svaha 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 Shri Bharsha Bhanavi Devi Dayitaye Kripadhaye Krishna Sambandha Vignana Dayane Bharbave Namaha Svaha 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 Vadut Jwala Parimadja Shri Rupanuga Bhaktida Shri Gora Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Svaha Svaha Namaste Gauravani Shrimurtare Dinatarine Rupanuga Virudhapa Apasiddhanta Dvanta Harine Svaha 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 Namo Gaura Kishoraya Sakshat Vairagya Murtaye Vipralamba Rasambodhe Parambujaya Te Namaha Svaha 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 Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Satchidananda Namine Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanuga Varayate Svaha 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 Gauravir Bhava Bhumeshtvam Nideshta Sajjana Priya Vaishnava Shabhabhomaha Sri Jagannathaya Te Namaha Svaha 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 Vanchakalpa Turubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhaevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Svaha 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 Namo Mahabharanaya Krishna Prema Padayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Go Twishe Namaha. Swaha, Swaha, Swaha. Panchatatmatmakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Sarupakam Bhakta Avataram Bhaktyam Namame Bhakta Shaktikam. Swaha, Swaha, Swaha. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu, Dinabandhu Jagatpate, Gopesha Gopika Kanta, Radha Kanta Namostate. Swaha, Swaha, Swaha. Jayatam Shuratoa Pangor, Mama Manda Mater Gati, Matsavasva Padam Bojo, Radha Madana Mohano. Swaha, Swaha, Swaha. Divyat Vrindaranyaya Kalpa Drumada, Shrimad Ratnagara Simhasana Shto, Shrimad Radha Shila Govinda Devo, Preshtalavi Sevimano Shmarami. It's enough words. Swaha, Swaha, Swaha. Srimad Rasa Rasambi Vamsivata Tatashtita Karshan Venush Vinayar Gopir Gopinatha Shriye Shtinu. Swaha, Swaha, Swaha. Still with us? Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi, Radhe Brindavaneshwari, Brishabhana Sutta Devi, Pranamami Hari Priya. Swaha, Swaha, Swaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shri Vasari Gaur Bhaktavinda. Swaha, Swaha, Swaha. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Swaha, Swaha, Swaha. Go Premanande! So, Shri Radhika Shri Radhika Charna Renudase, I'd like you to stand up with the banana between your palms. We have a good connection here? So, Shri Radhika Charna Renu, Devi Dasi. You stand with like this, and when I finish the following mantra, you can, in your mind, put the banana into the fire. Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmanya Hitaya Cha Jagaditaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namo Swaha Swaha Swaha. Oh, Premanande! Srila Prabhupada ki, Shri Guru Parampara ki, Shri Radhika Charna Renu Devi Dasi ki, her sister ki, Premanjali ki, all the Vaishnavas at New Govardhan ki. Everyone call her Shri Radhika Charna Renu Devi Dasi ki. Prabhus, I must thank you all so much for giving me this opportunity to do this wonderful service for our Guru Parampara. I'd like to ask all of you to bless me, that I can do the service even better that I might be doing it now. Please help me to purify my heart, and please play to Krishna Balaram, Gauritai, Giriraj, and Shri Radha Govardhan Dari, that one day I can actually develop some prema, some love for God, for Krishna, and I can share that with my disciples. Thank you, all of you. Have a wonderful observance of the appearance day of one of my favorites, Bhagavan Narasimha Ki. Thank you. Bye.
Her Grace Sri Radhika Charan Renu Devi Gasi. Lord Narasimha Bhagavan Ki. Congratulations. Sri Radhika Charan. Beautiful name. Bloody well. So thank you everyone very much for coming. Wonderful festival. So nice to see you all here this afternoon. I'm going to